Okay, make sure I can see myself over here. Great, and I can see the chat. Hey, we're going beyond basic business growth information. All across YouTube is basic information, including in some of our past morning shows. So we are taking you beyond basics to the next level. It's supposed to have started yesterday, but it started, I'm going to say 2 hours ago, when I released the discussion questions for this week. Okay, so let's talk about these discussion questions. The discussion questions are, what do you think most people do? Oh, I'm sorry. What do you think most people who don't buy are saying no, or are they saying not yet? Which one do you think they're saying? No or not yet? And this is most of your leads. Do you think every lead needs the same message before they're ready to buy? What's harder, getting leads or converting the ones you already have? Okay, so good morning. Good morning. What is this? Chandra Paxton over here. So I want the answers to these questions. We're going to start with Dr. Toya in the house. Do you want to answer each question individually, or do you want to give me like one sum answer that kind of sums it up?
I'll give you one some answer. Hi. So
Yes.
I believe that people are different. And so, absolutely, what triggers one person doesn't trigger someone else. So, having multiple messages are necessary just to meet people where they are. And definitely, getting leads are harder. And a no now is not a no forever, it's a no for now. So, I think most times it's just a not yet.
Cool beans. Oh, that's Cheryl over there. Look, I don't know that name, that Paxton name you got over there. That's one of your secret identities. But good morning, Cheryl Ferguson over there on the YouTube side. You are exactly right, Dr. Toy. You thank you for that information. Let's go to Shawana Kennedy Media. Do you think most people who don't buy are saying no or not yet? Do you think every lead needs the same message before they're ready to buy? And what's harder, getting leads or converting the ones you already have?
I actually do echo some of what Dr. Latoya said because I
Mhm.
do think for me it is a lot of not yet. They may not understand the value yet because of what we offer, and they need to, in some cases, trust a little more and make sure that they clearly understand the solution for themselves. So that's why it's a not yet. With the other one, do you think every lead needs the same message? No, because some people need proof, they need clarity. Some of them need to really even see themselves in the actual problem. So that's why it is important that we are
Mhm.
showing the solution to their problem so they can self identify quicker. Some need to even actually understand the cost of them staying where they are. So that's the thing that we have to make sure that we keep at the forefront. And then the last question, what's harder, getting leads or converting? Well, for me, it's converting the ones that with some of them that actually do, and they have seen proof. It's really going ahead
Yeah.
for them to get off of that not yet bus, get off the not yet
Mhm.
because you really do see the proof. There is evidence that is there, and make the adjustment so that they can go ahead and move the needle in their business. So, yeah.
I love that. I love that. Well, today we're gonna be full of a lot of great information, right? Because kind of what we already know about lead conversion has to do with warm leads versus cold leads. We already know that we need to have this follow-up system. We know we need to be nurturing our email list, and we know we need to be having conversations that convert rather than just selling to people, right? And we know that, we got our tofu, our mofu, and our bofu. So let's go into what I call the Foo Fighters, which is the um, lead funnel. But I want to share a picture with you so that you can get a better idea of why we're calling it a lead funnel. All right? Because the basic formula is that we have this funnel. The top is wider than the bottom. Okay? That's why it's a funnel shape. At the top, we have tofu, which is top of funnel. And there we have where leads are invited to get to know you and your brand. Okay. So in the basic formula, we know we need to attract more tofu. All right. In the middle of the funnel, which is less people than the tofu, but more people than the bofu, is middle funnel mofu. And there, this is where leads are engaged. So we know in the basic formula, on this level, we need to nurture them to like, know, and trust us. Okay. That's mofu. Bofu, this is the fewest amount of people in the funnel because everybody don't make it down to the bottom, right? So Bofu, leads that are ready to buy. So here in the basic formula, we need to help Bofu leads make a buying decision, okay? Now, also looking at this funnel, tofu, mofu, bofu, our next level formula is to go beyond just attracting more tofu. We want to take them from interest to intent at the tofu level. Okay. On the mofu level, we want to do more than help them to like, know, and trust us. We want to take them from intent to confidence. Okay. And in the mofu level, we want to do more than help them make a buying decision. We want to take them from confidence to commitment. That is our next level formula. All right. So let us go back over here because Dr. Tachi is back, and I do want to hear her answers to the discussion questions. So, Dr. Tachi, how would you like to answer these questions? Do you want to answer one by one or in an all-encompassing answer?
One by one.
Okay, go right ahead.
So for the first one, do you think most people are saying no or not yet? I think not yet, because like I was hearing Dr. Shawan, Dr. the doctor. I think there's a lack of understanding sometimes about how it's valuable, not what I do, but the value in it. And then, do I think every lead needs the same message before? No, because people are individuals. So I think that they have to be crafted individually, or at least in groups, because there'll be different groups of people. And then I think it's converting the leads that I already have that is the hardest thing.
Yeah, I think that's the hardest too. It's crazy because all of you in studio recognize that converting the leads you already have is the hardest thing, right? A lot of people think that getting new leads is the hardest thing. That's the easiest thing we can do. That's why it's more people in the getting of new leads, right? It's fewer people in engaging them to like, know, and trust us, and even fewer that are actually ready to buy. So converting those leads is the hardest. So you guys got it right. All right. Now let's go in detail with our next level formula. Tofu. So we're going from interest to intent. To clarify the problem and increase relevance is what we're doing here. So for tofu, we got to make the problem personally relevant. Okay. We don't just want to get the attention of everybody. We want to get the attention of people who are eventually going to buy our offers. Okay. If you're attracting a lot of the wrong people, then you got to do more work to out of that subset of people find the people that's going to actually buy from you. But if you are intentional from the beginning to find people that have the intent to buy from you based on their problems, based on the type of solution that you have, that's where we want to be. Okay. So an interested lead may consume a lot of content, follow your brand, download resources, or even attend events. But interest is passive. Okay. It's funny because I just had a conversation yesterday with Heather. She's not here with us this morning, but we're talking about a whole bunch of people that we follow, that we like their content, but we would not give more than low 3 digits in an investment toward any of their offers, right? Love your content, but I'm not going to buy from you for real, okay? Because something about it doesn't connect for me, but some of your content I do like. So interest is passive. We don't want those people, okay? Intent means they are beginning to consider solving the problem, the very problem that you solve. Okay. So the goal at that stage is not to immediately start selling or selling harder. It's to help that lead, the tofu lead, recognize the problem is important. It is relevant and costly enough to address. Okay, so how do we do that? Well, what prevents leads from conversion at the tofu is probably they enjoy your content without connecting it to a current priority. Okay, they understand the topic, but not recognize the impact on their business, their life, on whatever it is that you are impacting with your solution. Okay, they believe the problem can wait. They see your content as helpful but optional. And they lack clarity about what is actually causing their struggle with the issue, right? So your strategy to convert them is that your messaging should help them answer a few questions. And these are the questions. Is this happening in my business, in my life, in my whatever? Okay, whatever it is your content is talking about, the issues, the problems, the pain, are they actually feeling that? What is it costing them? Why have their previous efforts to solve the problem not worked? What will happen if they continue addressing the wrong problem or using the wrong solutions? Is this something I need to solve now? Those questions, that's what your tofu content should be answering to get a conversion. All right. So high impact tactics include diagnostic type content, things that help them diagnose the problem. Okay. Assessments and scorecards. Shawana Kennedy Media has a great assessment that she has out there as a lead magnet. So that is an awesome thing to do at a tofu level. All right. Problem specific case studies. Cost of inaction messaging. You should always be talking about how if they continue to let this problem be a problem, what it's going to look like, what they're going to lose in the end, right? So I tell y'all all the time, one of my great phrases is, where could your business be this time next year if, right? So that immediately puts them in the frame of mind of, I don't want to wait another year to have my business start growing the way I wanted to grow. It's going to cost me feeling like I have a real business. It's going to cost me feeling like I shouldn't invest into this thing that is not working at this point. So you should have that type of messaging. You should have comparison content, okay? Where you're comparing people who have solved the problem to people who have not solved the problem. Make them feel it, okay? You should have content that has the symptom versus the root cause. Let me tell you, one thing about medication is most medication does not cure. Most medication helps the symptoms of the problem, but it doesn't solve the problem. If you can create content that's showing them that all they're doing is putting band-aids on a gunshot wound, you don't think they will pay attention? Yeah, let them know that they're bandaging the problem, but the problem is still there. It's still festering. It's still causing problems and pain. Okay. Last but not least, do personalized questions as a part of your conversation in your content. All right. Cool. Let's go to our next part of our formula, and that is going from intent to confidence. This is MOFU. Okay. So we want to reduce uncertainty and establish the fit. So for MOFU, we got to reduce uncertainty and establish the solution that we give as a fit, okay? So a lead with intent knows they want to change, but we got to go to the next level, this level that we're on now. We want them to want change, and it doesn't mean that they're confident enough to buy just yet. So in this stage, MOFU, the biggest conversion barrier is usually uncertainty. Let me tell you some things they may be uncertain about. They may be uncertain about your process, what you're putting out there as a solution. They may be uncertain about their ability to succeed. Some people believe that you are the answer, that your solution is the answer, but they don't know if it's going to work for them. Okay. They may be uncertain about whether your offer fits their particular situation. It's a whole bunch of people out there that's like, oh, but I have a product-based business, or oh, I have a service. Will it work for me? I work in real estate. Oh, let them know that the offer fits their situation. Another uncertainty might be the time commitment. These days, everybody is busy. Everybody is busy. Now there's not people that are not busy. They are busy, super busy, mega busy, everybody busy. Okay. So you need to be addressing how much time it would take and a return on that investment of time. Okay. That's an investment of time. The next uncertainty is the financial investment. The best thing you could ever do is compare. Well, I'm going to tell you, most people compare the value of their offer to what they're actually charging for their offer. And you should definitely do that. But the best thing you can do is to compare the price of your offer, the investment for your offer, and how much money they're actually losing every day, every week, every month, every quarter, every year that they don't take you up on this solution. Let them compare that cost. Okay. Also, they're uncertain about whether this will be different from what they have already tried. So all your content on the MoFu level should be talking about these uncertainties, okay? Now, so the strategy is stop adding more information, stop reducing risk at this point, because right here, what we want to be asking are these questions. So listen up. Will this work for someone like them? Can they trust your process? What exactly will happen in the process? What exactly will happen as the transformation? What support will they receive? Some people need more support than others. Some people know that they have purchased things before that might have worked, but because they didn't have the level of support they needed, it didn't work for them. So what level of support are you offering? Okay. What if they get overwhelmed? What's there for them if they start getting overwhelmed and they're not able to keep up with the timeline of the offer? Is there something in it that way? Also, what makes your offer different than all the other offers? We should be answering these questions in our content at the MoFu stage. Okay. Now, how do we do that? Well, here are some things you can do to answer those questions. Share with them transparency on the process. It doesn't mean you have to give away your full, I'm going to say, IP on how you create the transformation, but you can just give them a timeline of how they're going to feel or the results that they're going to get at each stage of the process. Okay. That way your competitors can't just come and take your whole process and then make it theirs, but you can tell them how they're going to feel at each step of the process. You can tell them what they can expect to have as a result at each phase of the process. Okay. So process transparency, detailed client journey explanations. All right. This could be what they can expect from you at every step of the process. Not what you're going to do for the transformation, but what they can expect from you, like on a service level or a support level. Objection specific transformations. I'm sorry, not transformations, testimonials. I am very clear with the testimonials that I get, and I'm very intentional, right? I want to know what that person got out of that offer and how it changed their business. I don't want you to talk about how great I am. I don't want you to talk about how great the offer is. I want you to talk about how you got a transformation. So in my testimonials, what I'm looking for are people who are giving me a testimonial that answers a different objection. Okay. I don't want all of my testimonials on my website to be saying the same thing. Oh, Shay is great. Or, oh, this was a great workshop. I can't wait to implement all the things. That's not overcoming any objections for people who are looking for testimonials. I want you to think about when you're on Amazon, right? I'm looking for the reviews that's telling me, oh, I had a problem with this, but then I solved about this and I got this. Okay, I don't need a glowing review on there. I want to see some real time, real life stuff being discussed. Those are the type of testimonials that I love because I know it's going to answer some of these questions that need to be answered. All right, let's go. Behind the scenes delivery previews. Behind the scenes are great things to do. If you can go behind the scenes of showing how you're servicing somebody and got them to a certain milestone or the end result, that's great. Now, you do not have to show the complete process. You can pick out a highlight. That's what that is, okay? Frequently asked questions. Not only should you have frequently asked questions available and use it as part of content, but you should always be adding to that. That frequently asked questions thing is almost like a living, breathing content bubble. as people are asking questions and you start to hear the same questions over and over, you should be adding to the frequently asked questions that you're answering and making available as an answer. All right. Offer to comparisons. Who is this for? Who is it not for? We definitely need that. We talk about that all the time. We have gotten into the habit of talking about who it's for, right? And people may self-identify with that and still not be an ideal client for us. So we also need to start adding to it who it's not for. I'll give you a great example. When I have my retreats, right? It is definitely for an online service-based business that is struggling to get to their first 6 figures and want to learn my formula in paradise, right? Who is not for somebody that could be all of those things, but you're also a complainer and you're going to make everybody else not have a good time. And you're going to get on everybody's nerves and you're going to take away the relaxation element of the retreat. It's not for you if you're a complainer. Stay at home. We don't want you to come. Get your business advice from the content, from the DIY course. We don't want you in paradise with us complaining. Okay, who is it for? Who is it not for? All right. Also, we want to do some personalized recommendations, and that can come in the form of case studies. We want to do proof tied to the lead's specific concern. That goes back to, it could be real life examples, testimonials, that type of thing. All right. Cool. That's Mofu. Let's get into our last piece of the formula for BOFU, and that is taking them from confidence to commitment. Okay, so we've gotten them from interested to intentional, having an intent. We've gotten them from intentional to confident. Now we want to get them from confident to committed. Okay, because they can be all the other things, but if they're not committed, they're not going to buy. So facilitate the decision and create forward motion. This is for BOFU. We got to help the lead make and act on a clear decision. Now, I tell y'all all the time, I'm not into con artistry. I don't want to sell ice to Eskimos. That's not what I do. But I do want to get a commitment from the people I know I can help and who want my help. But I accept no's. If someone says a no, that is a clear decision, and I'm going to leave you alone. But until you say no, I feel like it is my duty to get a clear yes or no from you. And so that's what we're doing on this BOFU level. All right. So a confident lead may fully believe in your solution and still fail to buy. This is the most frustrating thing that could happen to most of us, because we've been talking to people, they've been shaking their head yes when we talk, they've been showing up for all the things, but they still haven't bought. Okay, why? Because confidence alone does not create action. So commitment requires that your sales lead cross the emotional and practical gap. Okay, pull that in, between wanting the results and accepting responsibility for the decision, because problems don't solve themselves like that, right? So what prevents conversion on the BOFU level? It's because your lead could be dealing with a few things. They could be dealing with decision avoidance. They just don't want to decide, or they don't want to decide right now, or they keep putting it off. Okay, they could be dealing with competing priorities. There have been so many people who have said, I know I need to get a roadmap, but I need to do these things first so I can feel like I'm ready for the roadmap. Repeating priorities. They could be dealing with fear of change. Some people are afraid of who they're going to have to become to get the thing they say they want, or the things they will have to stop doing or start doing to get the things that they want. So fear of change. It could be fear of wasting money. They just are not confident enough to make that commitment to give the investment, because they can't get over that fear that they have wasted money in the past and not gotten what they needed. Okay, fear of failing after they invest, fear of or dealing with unclear next steps. It's funny because I intentionally watched the advertisement to the end this morning that people are using some fantastic storytelling that it has real emotional messaging in it. And I go through all of that emotional messaging and I'm waiting to see what else are the next steps besides buy now. And they don't pay off on what the next steps are. So guess what I'm not going to do? Give you my money. Okay. So they could be dealing with unclear next steps. They could be dealing with too many options. You do that, but so does she, so does he, so does that person over there. So I got too many options to solve this problem. So I'm not making a decision yet on who I'm going to pick to help me solve it. They could be dealing with no meaningful reason to act now. They have no sense of urgency. Okay. This is why in my intake form for my discovery calls, I always ask, why are you looking for a solution right now? So that when we get on this call and I present you the solution and you start hesitating, I can remind you what you said. Okay. So no meaningful reason to act now. There's no sense of urgency or lack of internal permission. People who tend to say, let me talk to my husband about it, let me talk to my parents about it, they in some form don't trust their own decision, right? And people who don't even say that, they're just like, I don't know, I'm not sure, I don't know, I'll get back with you. They need permission to tell themselves yes. All right. So what kind of content should we be doing on this bold food stage to help with that? Okay. Well, we need some high impact things. We need content that is decision focused for follow-up. Okay. You should not at the bold food level be reintroducing the offer, the features, the benefits. Okay. What you should be doing is help them make a buying decision. So decision focused follow-up. Let me help you make the decision. We should be doing clear next step instructions. If you have ever bought anything from me, that confirmation email, the top of it is going to congratulate you. The middle of it is going to remind you what you bought, but the next part is going to tell you what the next steps are. That very first email, very first. At any given time, they should always know what comes next. All right. Also, personalized recap messages. Okay, I just told you I recap the offer in your confirmation email. But if you're emailing or reporting at every phase of your service, you should be recapping where they are, how far you've come, what you've achieved at this point, right? That's different than bold food, but I just want to remind you of that, okay? But in bold food, you do want to remind them of what the problem is, why they should be having urgency, what's at stake, and all of those things. So we should be recapping in a way that feels personal to them. We should have that consequence of delay because we want them to have urgency. Okay. Consequence of delay. What is going to happen if you keep putting this off? Who are you going to be? What is your business going to be? What is your life going to be like if you keep putting this off? Okay. We want to use future pacing. That is kind of like milestones. Like if I say, how far could you be this time next month? That's kind of pacing what that milestone can be like. My favorite advertisements right now are the workout videos that tell you that in 90 days, you could be different. And it breaks it down. You know, week 1, you're going to be tired, but week 2, you're going to start to feel more energy. Week 3, that's pacing, right? I love the AI training advertisements where they tell you in 28 days, you could be doing this, right? But week by week, first week, you're going to learn Chat GPT. Second week, you're going to learn Claude. The third, you know what I'm saying? Pace out what that feels like, looks like. Commitment questions. Go ahead and answer them. Any questions they already have, you know that they have, that you get frequently, answer those questions. Simple offer choices. This goes back to having a main offer and not putting all the offers out there at once. You give them a main offer. Give them time to consider that offer. If they have not bought, that's when you introduce the down sale. If they did buy, then that's when you introduce an upsell that will make that buy easier, right? Stop putting all the offers out there and letting them pick. You are the expert. You pick the offer they should start with. All right. Next up will be relevant deadlines. We already know about urgency, but I always give a fast action bonus or some type of fast action reduced rate that if you buy within a certain time, you get these things. Deadline. Okay. That creates urgency also. Implementation planning. All right. How can they be ready to take advantage of your offer? How can they be more ready? Let me tell y'all about this Shawana Kennedy Media. One thing that Shawana Kennedy Media is always going to ask me is, what should I be doing before that to be more ready? What should I have ready so that when we start that, I can get the most out of it? That's one question she's going to ask me every time. All right. You should be giving people information like that to help them make a decision, because money bet your competitors are not doing that. So that can help you stand out. All right. Oh, last but not least, direct discussion of hesitation. Is it discussion? Yeah. Direct discussion of hesitation. What does that mean? That means go ahead and call out that they're waiting. Don't be afraid to do that. Go ahead and call out that, hey, we kind of talked about this a few times. Now, this can be direct to them, like in their inbox. This could be a part of the funnel's messaging, but you should be calling out that if they have made it to this email and they've not clicked through to pay, they're hesitating. Okay? And go ahead and address that. All right? Now, let's talk about the complete formula. We want to go from interest to intent. That is, make the problem personally relevant. Okay? We want to go from intent to confidence. That is, reduce uncertainty and establish your solution as a fit. Okay? Last but not least, we want to go from confidence to commitment. We want to help our sales lead to make and act on a clear decision. I accept no's as a part of that. Okay? But we want a yes. But if you've not given a yes or a no, anything other than a yes or a no, I'm going to keep helping you make a decision because I'm going to assume you need support in making your decision. So I'm going to give you what you need to make a clear decision. All right. Now, again, we're talking next level stuff. So this goes beyond our basic tofu, mofu, bofu, because your funnel stage alone does not tell you what a lead needs. I want you to go back to the question that we asked, right? Which is, do you treat all leads the same? No, you do not. As an example, you can have 2 leads that are in the bofu stage of the sales funnel, all right? One may need more proof. One may need more clarity. One may need more reassurance. One may need a deadline to help them to move now rather than later. And one may simply need someone to directly ask for the decision. Are you in or not? Right? So these are the ways that we are understanding that they have all of these things that may be keeping them from going to the next stage. And so we need to be answering all of them so we're not acting like everybody has the same thing that's making them hesitate. All right? So your real next level is to go from sales stages to conversion barriers. We got to go over the barriers. So I want to talk to you about what the barriers are, possibly. Okay? There are 3 main barriers. Relevance. They do not believe that the problem is important enough. Relevant. So we need to be giving them information to understand the relevance of the problem, the relevance of the solution, the relevance of doing it now. Confidence. They do not believe the solution is right or safe enough. So we should be overcoming that. Last but not least, commitment. They have not made an internal decision to act. Now, I'm one of those kind of people I'm hard to sell, right? Not only am I a salesperson, well, I know how to have sales conversations. I recognize them when they're coming at me. So I'm hard to sell on some stuff that I don't need or I don't want or I don't want right now or need right now, right? But I can be sold. I will never forget. And I want our in-studio audience to get ready to tell me which part of this next level formula do you know that you need to be working on, and do you have any obstacles? And tell me some of the things that we talked about today that maybe you're already doing with success, okay? So get ready for that. But I remember I was at a conference, and I don't usually buy things when people are selling from the stage, okay? I have to either have heard your presentation before, your offer before, and I'm thinking about it, and then I need it. This lady got up on the stage, and she gave her talk, and then she gave her spiel about meet her in the back of the room if you're interested in working with her. I got up and went to the back of the room without even understanding what this lady was selling. Because in her content, she was talking about, you don't have a business unless you know how to sell. And most of us are creators. We like to create solutions because we want to help, but we're not salespeople. And we struggle with selling to people because we think in the back of our mind, con artistry and sales go together. We think about used car salesmen, right? We think about people that sell you some stuff that they know not going to work or that they know is not for you, but they sell it to you anyway. And we don't want to be that person. We don't want to take on that label, right? That was her content. So I meet in the back of the room. I done gave this lady 500 of my well-earned money dollars, okay? Didn't know how many days the event was going to be, didn't know the dates of the event, none of that. Didn't realize it until I got an email telling me the dates and realized one of the dates having a gonna be 3 days. One of the days I'm gonna have to take off work. Like I didn't know that. I knew I needed what she had and gave that lady my money, okay, without knowing all the things because I knew I needed it. She spoke to me in such a relevant way because I don't push people to do anything. I know I can help people, but I only want the people who believe that I can help them to buy because I'm not going to convince you. And baby, she hit all of my relevant things. She hit all of the questions I might have had at the time. Gave that lady my good $500. Let me tell you. All right, let's start with Dr. Toya Davis. Give me one of the strategies that you're using with success. Tell me some strategies you know you need to use that we talked about today, and do you have any obstacles to using them?
Okay. So because I forgot the question you was going to ask, I wasn't prepared. But the one that you talked about so that's the one I don't have for what I've been doing that's working. But what you talked about when you said it, and I was like, oh wait, I absolutely know I need to incorporate that. Is I think it was in the BOFU with the kind of the follow up or the like reminding people of where they've come from, right? And also the email formula, the congratulations that this is what you got, but then these are the next steps. I think so often I do kind of leave people out there with giving them the really clear directions of the next step. In my mind, I'm like, no, it's there, right? But I'm not telling them consistently, and I think that that's a major gap. And then also reminding them where they've been. And then the other thing that you said was I've gotten a lot better in directing people with how I'm getting feedback back and testimonials, but every time you say something like it just jogs me a little bit more on how I can be better about that, so that I can give people kind of what they need to hear, instead of leaving it up to chance.
I love that. I love that. I was trying to find an email example of the next steps because one of the things is this one. Yeah. Okay. Let me see if I can get this. Okay, I'm gonna share my screen. So this is an email that goes out after a discovery call, right? So the assistant sends it and it says, it's a nice little greeting, saying it tells them how I might be ready to do whatever. In the middle, we're talking about the different phases. So I'm recapping, right? Here, I'm telling them that about a discount based on a referral. Then I tell them, hey, this is good, y'all. I forgot. This is some obstacle busting that I do with every discovery call. So I bust out the obstacle of, is the value worth the investment? And then I give them money amount. Like, is this too high of an investment? Because I am a consultant, right? And my sessions are 4 digits, right? People are hesitant, and they gonna want to go ask their husband, should I pay $3,500? They're gonna ask they're gonna want to ask their friends, their fellow business buddies, should I pay 35? Those people don't have a reference for the value of it. So one of the things I do is I always add in some type of article on the value of my service, and then another article on the cost of that, right? And these are articles that are like from Forbes, Entrepreneur Mag, that kind of thing. So I've already busted, like, do people do this for success? Yes, they do. Read this on how a fractional COO could bring value to your company, right? This price sounds kind of high. Is it too much? Here's an article that's talking to you about the fee structure for this service usually, right? So again, I always have next steps. Hey, if you ready, click here and make that payment, baby. And after the payment, this is what you should be looking for, right? So, and then I always add urgency. See that deadline? So yes, your emails are great for doing all these things that we talked about. So whatever level of lead they're on, you can use an email in the funnel or just in your correspondence that does all of these things. So was that helpful, Dr. Toya?
Yes, thank you.
Cool beans. All right. Shawana Kennedy Media, which one of the strategies we talked about today that you've used with success? What is one you know you need to be putting into practice, but you might have some obstacles. So tell me if you have obstacles. So let me know what's going on over there with our strategies for today.
Hey, you know, I love all of what you're saying. And I believe at some point, because I did do the roadmap, I was in Mexico and all of the amazing things. It's what it does is always remind me of stuff, because I love that you even showed the image of the uh, mofu bofu tofu, because that makes me then go back and say, hey, what can I even be doing or using that in some of the current videos? Thank you for popping that up. The current videos that I am pushing out as we speak, because I'm big on right now, I have to be on even the batch recording. So it's making sure people who may not know, like, and or trust me yet, that they're seeing clearly what it is that we offer, because that's the big thing too. Based off what you're doing, people have to be able to clearly not only self-identify for themselves, they have to know what you do to say, hey, is that what I'm doing? So I have to always keep that at top of mind for me and what it is that I offer, so that I'm painting a clear picture for the primary facing forward offer, because that's the key in the conversation that we have and the trainings that you've taken us through before. So it's always for me just a constant reminder, I got to stay sharp, I got to stay on it, and that's why I always stay connected to you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. All right, let's go to Dr. Tachi. Dr. Tachi, is there one of the, at least one of the strategies that we talked about today that you're using with success? Also, which one do you know you need to use that's going to be most game changing for you? And do you have any obstacles to applying it?
I need to keep that tofu, mofu, bofu, that diagram out to as a reminder. So when you popped it up, I was like, oh, not that I forgot about it, but to constantly keep myself reminded of that. So that was helpful. And something that wait, sorry, I lost my train of thought.
Throw this picture in today's show notes so that y'all can copy. There you go. It's in there now.
Thank you. That is helpful. And then also the when you were talking about the different steps in terms of doing things. So this is what it is. In week 1, you'll get this. In week 2, you'll get this. In week 3, you'll get this. I think I need to further break down like that, because to me, like Dr. Toya says, in my mind it's there, but to further break things down like that, I think would be very helpful.
Yes, and a lot of people don't want to break down that type of thing because they're afraid they're giving away their secret sauce. So you don't have to give the secret sauce of the exact how you're going to do it. You could do a version of that, which is, this is what you need to do to prepare for each stage, right? Or this is what you're going to be feeling during this stage, but what's going to be the new feeling at the end of that stage, right? So there's a way to take them what to expect through the stages without giving your secret sauce of how you get that transformation on each stage. Because I understand it's too many people out here stealing folks' stuff, right? There's too many people out here, looking at a sales page, hoping they can get all the IP information, intellectual property information, and move on, right? I'll tell you, one of my coaches, I used to have, and I wonder if I can find it quickly, but my 6 phases to 6 figures. I used to kind of explain it in depth a little bit. And then I had is this it? Please let this be it. Yes. Okay. Great. Perfect. Let me share my screen. So 6 phases to 6 figures, right? I had basically a phrase for each of the 6 phases. Declare your freedom, define your business, design your structure, develop your plan, direct your resources, drive your plan to dominate, right? So those are just phrases. So it tells you what's going to happen in each phase without telling you how we really going to do that. But one of my coaches was like, yeah, but that's enough information for somebody to try to copy your formula. So what he did was he said only use the first word of each one. So now the outward facing version of this is declare, define, design, develop, direct, drive. Right? So again, you can protect yourself. And I want to show y'all that in execution, because I know it's on one of my sales pages. I think it's the retreat page. But you can kind of not give away everything that you're doing. And so the new version of that is it. Declare, define, decision, develop, direct, drive. Like that's all they see now. So no, that's not enough information for a competitor to now structure their solution like my solution is structured.
Okay, this is really good because, as you know, in higher ed, we're used to giving objectives in a syllabus, so which are kind of the same thing, but they fully explain. So it's like by the end of this week, you should. By the end of this course, you should know. So it gives like I give objectives for every week of what they're going to do, but that's like a full explanation so that they get it. So what for this, that it's like you're just taking like the first word or the first partial concept, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. You're giving them just enough to be informed, just enough. Because if you want to know more, you need to invest.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
Shawana said, but they have already paid. No, this is when we're talking to them to help them make a buying decision, Shawana. So that's the difference, right? Once they already paid, then I can give you the full phrase, and then under the phrase, tell you the whole curriculum, the whole breakdown, right? But until you pay, nobody's giving away all the secrets, so you can try to go do your version of it thinking that you're saving money, because you ain't saving money. You're costing yourself time and money, because that's not going to work, because you don't know what you're doing. Right? So one of my phrases is, you cannot reverse engineer if you're not an engineer. If you don't know what you're doing, how you going to take an end result or the phases of a formula to break down on how to get the result? You don't know how. You never knew how. That's why you need to buy it. So I would press that pain. All right. That was awesome. Any questions before we get out of here? We are a little 4 minutes over our little time, but it's been great. I tell you what, you guys out there in YouTube land, if you have questions, use the not the live chat, because we're about to cut that off, but you can use the comments to tell me if you got a question. And the value of being in studio is we're going to continue the conversation and answer any of their individual questions, and wish you were here, but you're not. So check out the comments and see how you can be. All right. See you next week. All right, y'all. That was a lot of information, but it's on the show notes. I'm glad I give y'all